Have you ever wondered who the very first king in the world was? Picture this, a world with no countries, no presidents, no prime ministers, just small tribes trying to survive. Then, one day, a man steps forward, puts on a crown, and declares himself king. He's the first ruler of his kind, the one who started it all. But who was he? Where did he come from? And how did he become the first king ever? Get ready for an epic adventure through ancient history to uncover the mystery of the world as first king. Stick around, because this story is packed with surprises and you won't want to miss a second. Before we hunt for the first king, let's figure out what a king even is. Imagine you're the leader of your school or neighborhood. You make the rules, solve fights, and everyone looks to you for big decisions. That's kind of what a king was in ancient times. But way bigger. Kings ruled over entire cities or regions, led armies, built temples, and were often seen as chosen by the gods or even gods themselves. For kids, think of a king like the ultimate team captain. But instead of a soccer game, he's in charge of a whole civilization, with absolute power, making life or death decisions. But who was the very first person to take on this role? To find out, we need to travel back over 5,000 years to the dawn of civilization. Our first stop is Mesopotamia, a land between two rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, in what's now modern-day Iraq. This place is called the cradle of civilization because it's where people first built cities, invented writing, and, yes, started having kings. The Sumerians, who lived here, left us a super old document called the Sumerian King List. It's like a history book carved on clay tablets, listing all their kings. According to this list, the first king was Alulim, ruler of a city called Eridukul, right? But here's the wild part. The list says, Alulim ruled for 28,000 years. That's longer than all of human history. Obviously, nobody lives that long, so historians think Alulim was probably a myth, a legendary figure the Sumerians created to explain how kingship began. Maybe he was inspired by a real leader, or maybe he was like a superhero in their stories, chosen by the gods to rule. But the Sumerian King List gives us another name, Enmebaragesi, king of Kish, around 2700 BCE. This guy's real. We've found pottery fragments with his name, and stories say he defeated a rival land called Elam. That's a big deal. It shows he was a powerful leader with a real kingdom. So, is Enmebaragesi? Hold that thought, because another ancient land has a strong contender. Now, let's zoom over to ancient Egypt, the land of pyramids, mummies, and pharaoh. Around 3250 BCE, over 5,000 years ago, a leader named Scorpion first ruled Upper Egypt. His name sounds like something out of a movie, doesn't it? Archaeologists found his tomb in a place called Abydos, filled with treasures like wine jars, ivory labels, and even grape seeds, showing he was super wealthy and powerful. Scorpion first united different tribes in Upper Egypt, which was a huge step toward creating a kingdom. Some historians think he might have been the first to wear a crown, a symbol of kingship. Imagine being the first person to say, "I'm in charge of all this." That's what Scorpion first did. His tomb and artifacts are some of the oldest evidence we have of a king, making him a top candidate for the world's first monarch. But wait, there's another Egyptian king to consider, Narmer, who lived around 3100 BC. Narmer is famous for uniting Upper and Lower Egypt, creating one big kingdom. We know about him from a cool artifact called the Narmer palette, which shows him wearing two crowns and defeating enemies. Some call him the first pharaoh, but since he came 150 years after Scorpion, he's probably not the very first king. Still, his story is epic, like a real-life action hero. So, we've got Scorpion first and Enmebaragesi as top contenders, but what about other ancient civilizations? Let's check out the Indus Valley civilization in what's now India and Pakistan. Around 3300 BCE, they built amazing cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, with streets and drainage systems better than some modern towns. But here's the thing, we don't have clear evidence of a king. Some seals show a figure wearing a headpiece nicknamed the Priest King, but historians think this might have been a religious leader, not a king. Maybe their society was run by councils or priests instead. What about ancient China? There are legends of the Xia dynasty starting around 2070 BC, but that's way later than Scorpion first or Enmebaragesi. And the stories are more myth than fact. Other places, like ancient Greece or Mesoamerica, didn't have kings until much later. So, it looks like our search keeps pointing back to Egypt and Mesopotamia. Okay, So why can't we just say, this guy was the first king? Well, imagine trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. That's what historians faced. Back then, writing was new, and many records didn't survive. Plus, ancient people loved mixing facts with myths. For example, the Sumerian King List says kings ruled for thousands of years, clearly not true. But it shows how they saw their leaders as almost godlike. Also, different cultures had different ideas of what a king was. In some places, a king was a warrior. In others, a priest or a judge. And what if there were kings before writing existed, whose names were never recorded? It's like trying to find the first person who ever ate pizza. Good luck proving it. That's why historians debate whether Scorpion first Enmebaragesi or someone else deserves the title. After all this, who gets the crown for the world's first king? Based on what we know today, Scorpion I of Egypt, around 30 to 50 BCE, is the strongest candidate. His tomb artifacts and evidence of uniting tribes make him the earliest ruler we can confirm with archaeology. Enmebaragesi of Kiesh around 2700 BCE is a close second, with solid proof like inscriptions. But he came later. Alulim, while first in the Sumerian King List, is likely a myth, a story to show how kingship began. History is like a treasure hunt. New discoveries, like a hidden tomb or a lost tablet, could change everything. Maybe there's a king out there we haven't found yet, waiting to rewrite the story. So, there you have it, the mystery of the world's first king. Whether it's Scorpion I, Enmebaragesi, or a forgotten ruler, this story shows how humans went from small tribes to mighty kingdoms. What do you think? Who's your pick for the first king? Drop your guess in the comments below. If you loved this journey through ancient history, give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more epic stories. Want to know about famous kings like Tutankhamun or Genghis Khan? Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.